Hi tribe, you're welcome again to Flookiesden. Canada is getting hot, it's getting hot, it's getting hot. And I think we need to create that awareness and let us all be careful as we decide to move to this Canada. Even for those that are here, the news that we're hearing recently, it is getting really tough. Canada is not for the faint-hearted. I say this all the time. Canada is getting tougher for immigrants that are wanting to move here. And you know, the news that have come up in recent times just shows and proves that honestly the immigration law is restricting more immigrants from coming into Canada. And I'm just going to talk a bit about a few things as regards the students, as regards the temporary workers, as regards those that are coming in as visitors and those that are like temporary residents. People that reach out say, if I can I come in as a visitor and be able to find work. That's in the past. You need to know right now that that's in the past. It's still possible, but it's in the past. Honestly, the percentage of you getting a job is in the past. It's really tough. You know, in the past you can come in as a visitor, you know, find a job that will grant you, you know, that work permit and probably get an LMIA, and then you'll be able to begin to work. Sometimes people also come in and they say, if I come in, I can, you know, find a job that I can start working. And then, you know, from there, they still try their luck. But these things are really stringent right now. The news that the Minister of Immigration just put out there, in fact, not just the recent news, even from the past, the news is actually against international students, against temporary workers, against visitors. They're just streamlining immigration. They want to reduce, maybe they've reached their cap. They have not really told us the truth. They've reached their cap of those that they want to come into Canada. I remember during the COVID time too, you know, things were really tough. People were not willing to work because of the conditions of, you know, what COVID brought at the time. And they increased the hours for students to work, you know, unlimited, more than 20 hours, because normally the students are entitled to work 20 hours in a week. And you know, most people really started taking more jobs. Students were taking more jobs because those that are even eligible to work, they were not working. Some were leaving their jobs. Some had, you know, family that are sick out of COVID and they need to care for them. There were just so many things going on around that time. So of course it was a good news that the minister brought this up, that students could work extra hours. And those hours could cater for their accommodation, cater for their feeding, help them with, you know, living standards. But right now, the minister has dropped another bombshell and says, no, we're reverting back to 20 hours from September. So if you are here already, you still have the summer to work for your limited hours. Just enjoy it and make hay while the sun shines. But from September, it's news that you have to go back to 20 hours. And that way, I think what the main focus actually, if you actually listen to that press conference, was that they were trying, the minister was actually addressing that the purpose for you as a student is for you to come and study, not for you to come and work. And if you come with the mindset of coming to work, you are defeating the purpose, because mixing work and study can be a bit tasking. It's possible, but depends on your courses, depends on the classes you have, and or how the hours play out, and then your weekends. So you want to look at that in perspective. So coming back to that 20 hours is what you are guaranteed moving on from September. So please make hay and know this ahead of time. And for you that are coming in September, just know straight up that you don't have time to waste. 20 hours down. You can't do more than 20 hours so that you don't get into trouble. There's trouble if you decide to go against that rule. Also, I want to touch on people that think they can come in and quickly move into seeking asylum or using their visitor's visa to feel that they can find work. I mentioned that a bit. But you know, this is difficult. It's becoming tougher and tougher. And you need to lay your cards straight. If you come in and think that you'll find a company that would give you a job, you know, LMIA job, and then help you to stay, I won't say it's not possible. There's nothing impossible under the sun, but it is getting really tough. So weigh your options so that you don't get into trouble. Come in as a visitor, and with the high rate of deportation that is going on, well, that has always been going on anyway. But if you come in, there's always queries at the point of entry, which you must be able to, with your full chest, answer those questions that they're asking you. Why are you here? Are you on visiting? Why? You know, do you have a job back home? Are you going back home? You know, who are you related to that you're visiting? Or are you only coming for your holiday? You know, there's various questions. You know, like you go to take your visa, when you go to the passport office or immigration office to get your visa for a particular country, and they ask you some questions. If you don't stand well, if you don't stand well, or if you have visited some countries that are already blacklisted, you know that background, they will stamp it for you at that point and say thank you for coming, see you another time with another fee. You don't want your case to be like that. To be forewarned is to be forearmed, like they say. So know that when you're coming as a visitor, you're coming as a visitor. Some people who want to come and say, okay, if I come, I can marry somebody that is a Canadian. It's possible. In fact, I think somebody told me a story about someone too that did that. And then settle down. It's going on well. It's good. But does that work for everybody? No. Would you look at that as an option? I don't know. That's your own call to make. But, you know, all these things are for you to know ahead of time and to play your game right. You don't want to fall and say bye-bye to your people back at home, and then you come here and you're going back home. That is a disaster. It's no good news to share. Let's be wary. Let's be careful. As we look at immigrating, we must look at the best options that work for every one of us. You know, this temporary policy for visitors is actually ending soon, sometime early next year. I think in February, whereby usually on a normal basis you come in as a visitor, visitors, you get your permit, you find an LMIA job, you apply for work permit from that job, and that gives you opportunity to continue to work, and you know, from there you know your story begin to change. Canada does not want immigrants anymore. That's the bottom line. Honestly, they are moving closer and closer to probably the cap that they have, and they are looking at ways to just minimize. So it's getting tougher. It's getting tougher. As many that hasn't moved, that has slowed down so many things, or waited for one thing to click another. Sorry, this our immigration minister has continually dropped bombshells, you know, against students. They're reducing those hours, and for students, so it's, in fact, it's, if you don't have that backing, that money bag behind you that will send you to school, I don't know how you want to come and work without having money. Because if you now reduce your hours, that 20 hours cannot do so much for you. It can't help you to pay your bills. It can't help you, you know, look at the bills. It's tough. And look at the exchange rate for those that are going to be paying these bills on your behalf. So if you don't have that resources, if you don't have parents that have money to sponsor you, if you don't have guardian or a sponsor to help you through school during that period that you have come to Canada, you are in for one long thing. It is difficult for you to, you know, stay afloat in this place. Things are getting tougher. Things are getting more expensive. Things are getting harder. And if you don't have that resources to back you up, it is going to be tough. So this is a wake-up call for you as a potential migrant, whether you're coming as a visitor, as a student, or different ways. In fact, looking at moving, I don't know, the best route actually for now would be for you to come in like a PR. Because if you come in like a visitor and you want to work, it's ending, like I said, it's ending in 2025 February. It's tougher. Even those that have come in start looking for LMIA jobs, they've been here for as long as maybe their visas will expire because they've not really gotten a job. It's tough for people that are here too. Everybody's looking for a change in career, looking for where to move to as per career change, but it's still hard. And as visitors, you want to come and take the job that PR cannot take or haven't gotten yet. It's hard. So you need to weigh your options very well. Look at PR options. I know some things might, or scenarios or categories might not work well for you, depending on age, depending on if you have a family here, depending on some things that will gain you points. And I know that even for Saskatchewan provincial nominee, they've halted on that program as well. So, I don't know. I don't have news for you for moving to Canada generally, but the main thing is still be hopeful. These updates keep changing. They keep reviewing it. As they halt one, they open more doors. So you constantly have to go in. And I also finally want to address those that use immigration consultants back at home, those that use agents that help them in this process. There's no agent that has the passcode for you to enter Canada easily or without any hiccups. They are only using their own expertise to help you through. They don't have guarantees for you. You need to know this ahead of time. They need to let you know ahead of time, because everything determines or depends on your situation and circumstance. Whether you have this, you've done your IELTS, you have your POF, you have your credential assessment, you have all these things. They won't manufacture these things for you. If they manufacture it for you, I don't have any advice for you from there. But it depends on what you have on hand that will gain you that access. If they review all your documents, they review everything that you have, and it doesn't look good, don't force it. Because if you force it, they will take your money, they will chop your money, and then we move on. You will be waiting for their response, but they've gone. Some people have been beaten several times because of this. By, okay, they give them a fee of X millions in their local currency, that they will help them. You can't help somebody if their situation is bad already. They don't have the required documents. They don't have the criteria for them to move here. What do you want to do? What kind of help do you want to do? And this is a wake-up call for you. Don't force yourself to say now you must find ways to move to Canada. But you must look at your situation. Does it permit you to move? And then you can also consult with the immigration consultants back here. If you go on the IRCC website, you'll find those that are legally immigration consultants. So you don't go and pay your money to people that will not do the work for you. And still, contacting them does not guarantee that it would bring you to Canada. Either way you go, it still boils down to what you have in your hand, all your documents. You have all the requirements, and you tick up all these boxes. So those are the things. And like I tell people too, you can do these things yourself. Read up, spend time, find time, go on the Canada website, IRCC website, check all the things, the requirements for each immigration process or each stream that you're looking at using. Find all that information and begin to put it together. See which option works best for you, and start putting these things in perspective. Don't wait for one miracle to happen. Miracle will not happen when you don't have the right criteria to be able to help you through it. Canada government is cutting down on immigration. They are stylishly cutting down on immigration, and of course, by cutting down on even those that are coming to study, not bringing their spouse, except they are coming to study as a master's degree holder or coming for their PhD program, their doctorate program, they're just reducing. And if you live here too, you will see that there are so many things that are contending with the facilities here. No accommodation, no job, things are expensive. So I'm sure they are looking backwards and reflecting and say, look, we need to be able to work or fix things internally before we now open up more streams. Please, if you have not listened to the news or heard the news, if you have not updated yourself, please go on the IRCC website. Just follow them on all their portals, Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, or follow them, so that when those posts or announcements or maybe when they send a conference statement goes out, you will see it and you know what to do. You know whether this benefits you or not, or you know somebody that it benefits, and they can just make hay accordingly. All this information that we bring to you, we are just, you know, is the information we also get from the portal. So you know these things, you can do these things yourself, and trust God for your final outcome. So please, if this has helped you, do share, like, and subscribe, and we'll talk more on what benefits we can get from moving to Canada. So see you in another vlog, guys. Bye.